Welcome to week 5. We are at the end of the year. We did it. This week is going to be a bridge. We learned all month on this giving grace for ourselves and so we can allow our growth. And now we're not going to say, well, screw all that. Let's just go for the hustle. It's a new year, new year. We're letting go of new year, new you mentality that's being thrown at you. You're inundated with all of these perceived expectations, and it's going to cause you to go into a negative dynamic, not a positive flow state. So what we're going to do is use that grace for growth. So we're going to start building a foundation for a positive flow state as we hit the new year. And if you are already tired of all the messaging and getting lost in what resolutions you want for the new year, this week is for you. So we're going to integrate December's lessons to prepare for January's action. As we bridge into January, we're not abandoning grace for hustle. We're actually using grace as the launching pad for sustainable growth. The core truth is that grace creates the mental space for growth. You can't change what you don't accept. This isn't about resolutions. It's about rewiring how you respond. And so we're going to go through some key bridge concepts of grace as growth, not one or the other. That you can't change what you don't accept. And this idea about resolution over rewiring. Because December's grace has prepared you for January's growth. So as we look at my neuroscience-backed framework, we know that the key components is awareness, acceptance, grace, and action. So we really can't grow until we find that grace, that radical acceptance. And many people feel like, oh, that's just really easy to do. I don't even know why we have to spend a whole section on it. It's because logically you know and emotionally you can't feel it because 85% of us is sitting and suffering and we don't even know it. It's understanding that we have to have that awareness, that bridge of acceptance, which is grace, so that we can actually do the actions that we want to build the response that we choose. And as we look at that value, capacity, motivation, this week especially, and coming into the new year, everyone's going to sell you motivation. And your motivation will be high. But remember, value and capacity are sitting right next to it. And there's a cap on it because stress puts a cap on your value and your capacity. And so as they try to meet each other, this is capped. It's not going higher. So motivation's going to tank. So before you waste money on the next big thing that's going to sell you motivation for the new year, take a look at this week and realize that grace is the foundation of growth. That radical acceptance will give you the capacity and value that you need to rip that cap off and really make the lasting changes you want. Here's the deal. You can't change what you don't accept. So you can be as aware as you want and you can have all the tips and tricks. That's what all the wellness, that's the billion-dollar industry, is I'll give you awareness of what you need. It's literally a marketing strategy. And I will sell you that solution. It's literally a marketing strategy. But where's the grace in between? It's not there because you are the only person who can give grace to yourself. You can't buy it. You've got to find it within. And so there's a paradox of you can't change what you don't accept. Because here it is. You're at war with yourself when you don't give yourself grace. And remember that stress is already causing a war inside. This dissonance, this fear between your mind and your body. And so in order to close that gap, we've got to find the radical acceptance, that grace within us. And as we find that grace within us, we start to realize that the judgment starts to float away. They're just clouds passing in the sky. We start to realize that instead of resisting the change, because the body in survival resists change, it goes to those comfort zones. Those 4 barriers to trauma come up, or the 4 barriers that trauma brings on to prevent success comes up. it's your brain survival patterns. And so when you stop using the language of discipline, number 2 of the foundations of how we get stuck in our negative dynamic, these OG feedback loops, we realize that motivation, we start to judge ourselves as the motivation comes down, and we immediately equate that we must not be valued enough and that we don't have the capacity. And that's how they all sit together. And we're breaking through that this week. Because here's what happens. Acceptance creates space, which allows for perspective, enables choice, and then will facilitate change, which will allow for further acceptance. It's a beautiful positive flow state that we're all trying to seek and have no idea how to get to. It is ideally sold to us, but what we don't realize is the only person who can offer that sell to us is ourself. And so here is the bridge truth. Acceptance is not resignation. It's the key and foundation to transformation and growth. Because traditional resolutions are gonna be gone in like 13 days. It's gonna be here and gone so quickly, because all it is our shoulda, couldas, and perceived expectations mirroring on ourselves. It's about as useful of setting a resolution as it is to get therapy from ChatGPT. You're literally just kind of feeding yourself your own information and what you want. But when we can find grace and radical acceptance, then we can start to understand our value. And remember, those duality of truth start to come in. It's like we're using what we're learning in its foundations and building blocks. And as we're using that, we're finding patience, that it takes time, and that time can give us space, not minimize our space. And as we see and recognize the dualities of truth, we give ourselves grace for that. And we allow our self to occupy these truths at the same time without the dissonance of judgment. Because here's the difference. Resolutions equal what you'll do differently. And rewiring is how you'll respond differently. Because the bridge truth, I'm not changing behaviors to prove my worth. I'm rewiring my responses to honor my worth. And so in order to instigate change, we need to have the acceptance with the action. So it's important to go down to the worksheet to make sure you're learning how we can apply this month's learning and what we were able to grow with through grace, and how that's directly going to allow us a foundation to map our success next month. So all of our paid subscribers get exclusive content and access to our worksheets. And those worksheets are going to have activities so that you can apply all of the learning. It's going to give you journal reflections, and it's actually going to give you a plan of how to take all of the December grace and all of that growth and put it into action next month, as we actually are going to build a roadmap of success together. And remember, it's all about learning how you want to respond. Rewiring our brain means we're responding over reacting. And it's a big part of my neuroscience-backed framework. So this week, really think about, how do I want to respond? Every time I want to set a resolution for a reaction, I want to also say, how do I want to respond to this? Because you will get locked in those perceived expectations. Behavior is predictable. And when you do, we're still going to be here. We're still going to help you. We're going to have it. We are the steady base for you to continue to ground to. We're going to find next month, spoiler alert, that we are establishing a north for ourselves. An Empowering Wellness Counseling Solution is offering that support in the coming year to be that true north, so that you're guided throughout your journey wherever it takes you. I'm Jennifer Evans with Empowering Wellness Counseling Solutions. Thank you so much.